Well, greetings, friends. It's Brian Hudson. I want to share with you a lesson from my devotional entitled The Usefulness of Division. Strange title. Let's get into it. 1 Corinthians 11:18 says, "In the first place, I hear that when you come together as a church, there are divisions among you. And to some extent, I believe it. No doubt there will be differences among you to show which of you have God's approval." Now, it's counterintuitive for us to think there's any purpose for division. We hear complaints about division, pleas for unity, but the following tweet came across my feed a few days ago from a prominent evangelical whom I follow and respect. He wrote this: "A divided country needs a united church." Now, that sounds good. He posted this in the wake of allowing others to present their arguments for voting for Donald Trump or Joe Biden. And his post may have been intended to follow that free-for-all on that Twitter feed to state how a unified church can heal divisions in our nation. Many responses to his post highlighted a more important reality. Here are some responses to his tweet. "The country is divided because the church helped to elect a divider-in-chief." Another person wrote, "Can't have a united church when half of its leaders cravenly support corruption and immorality in pursuit of their policy lust." And my response was true, but unfortunately, some of the division in our nation is because of the church. So, we are divided in both the nation and the church. However, it is not the major problem that it may seem to be. Division is a way towards a solution when and if we process it from a biblical, justice, and righteous perspective. Yes, division can be productive. Now, divisiveness is counterproductive. Now, suffice it to say, the Corinthian believers had issues. But Paul didn't call for an end to division. He actually said that division served a purpose. He wrote, "No doubt, there have to be differences." Now, division and differences come from a clash of ideas, beliefs, and motivations. The great fault of those who always insist on unity is making conformity and silence the standard. Being outspoken is considered culturally unacceptable, so people learn to be quiet. They contradict their conscience, keep strongly felt points of view to themselves, and may ultimately become disingenuous or manipulative to avoid coming out of the shadow of acceptance by others. Now, sharing points of view or disagreeing with others can feel like division. At that point, those who are emotionally fragile retreat into a call for unity or just go quiet, go silent to avoid feeling uncomfortable. And for some people, comfort is job one. The Apostle Paul stated that the purpose of division was this. He said, "To show which of you have God's approval." Now, God's approval often comes through process and conflict. When we engage in the spirit of love and God's righteousness, we always come to a place of seeing who and what is approved. Sometimes the loudest person seems correct in the beginning. If we stay engaged, however, the Lord will show his wisdom and approval in the midst of that conflict and disagreement. This happened at the Council of Jerusalem when the Apostle James spoke up after a season of division and difference on some church matters. And Acts 15 talks about that. Read that, very important. Now, I've had many occasions of sharing my points of view and then being shown a more perfect way or having to admit that I was wrong. At first, it's a hard pill to swallow to know that you're wrong, but it's something with which I became comfortable. And this leads to a willingness to engage with others in the hopes of being helped and sometimes helping others. Now, if we avoid all division, we will never find unity of purpose. And listen, there's never unity of thought. So I trust this little talk has encouraged you. And think about this question, if you will, please. What are examples of how division has been productive in your life? Okay? So I trust you were blessed by this talk. Just think about what I've said here. It's also on my blog. This same lesson, if you will, is on my blog at brianhudson.com. Go check it out. And let's not run from difficulty in division, apparent division, and differences, because I believe, again, it's the process toward a solution. All right? God bless.